Did you know? Around 500 billion Oreo cookies have been made to date, and Oreos can now be purchased across 100 different countries. It takes just under an hour to make a single Oreo, and roughly 40 billion Oreo cookies are made every year. The first Oreo cookie was sold in Hoboken, New Jersey, where Oreos were originally packaged in bulk tins and sold by weight. Back then, grocers paid 30 cents per pound for Oreos, about 10% of today's prices. Oreo also has a street named after it in New York City, with the street's name being Oreo Way. The street was originally West 15th Street between 9th and 10th Avenue, but it was renamed to honor where the very first Oreo was made and the first Nabisco factory was located. People generally believe that Oreos are an original product, likely due to the brand's monopoly of cream-filled chocolate sandwich cookies. However, this isn't the case. Oreo competitor Hydrox first hit stores in 1908, 4 whole years before Oreos debuted. Oreo producer Nabisco's superior advertising and connections added up over time, giving them the dominant spot in the market. By 1998, Oreos were grossing $374 million per year, whereas Hydrox was only bringing in $16 million, about 23 times fewer. The market saturation of Oreos led to Hydrox being seen as a copycat, the first step in an unfortunate chain of events which almost killed the Hydrox brand. Hydrox producer Sunshine Biscuits was bought by cookie manufacturer Keebler in the late 90s. Keebler tweaked and rebranded Hydrox under the name Droxies, but these were dropped after Kellogg's bought Keebler in the early 2000s. After a prolonged outcry from fans, Kellogg's resumed distribution of Hydrox on the cookie's 100th anniversary in 2008. They were available nationally for a time, but less than a year later, Kellogg's removed all traces of Hydrox from their website. Likely due to low sales, Kellogg's ultimately abandoned the Hydrox trademark. Years later, in 2014, the trademark was picked up by candy producer Leaf Brands. And as of the making of this video, Leaf Brands still sells the Hydrox cookies on their website, with the tagline, "The original sandwich cookie is back, don't eat a knockoff. Stick with the original, Hydrox." There have been several products made to expand the Oreo line of goods, including the Oreo O's cereal. Due to the product being a joint venture between 2 companies, an unusual situation arose. For an entire decade, Oreo O's could only be purchased in South Korea. The cereal was a collaboration between Kraft Foods, who owned the Oreo brand, and their subsidiary Post Cereals, who created and had the license to the Oreo O's recipe. The distribution and profits for the cereal were shared between both companies up until 2007, when Kraft Foods sold Post to food producer Ralcorp Holdings and ended their partnership. Although Kraft owned the Oreo brand, Post owned the exclusive rights to the recipe. Ralcorp refused to sell the rights to Kraft after acquiring Post, and Kraft refused to lend Ralcorp the Oreo license, leading to the cereal's discontinuation. Although this legal mess ended the cereal in America, Oreo O's is manufactured by a different company in South Korea. Dongsa Foods was established in a joint venture between Dongsa Companies Inc. and General Foods, which was bought by Kraft in 1988. When Dongsa Foods extended its business to the cereal industry, they acquired the license to the Oreo O's recipe from Post before they were sold to Ralcorp Holdings. After Post separated from Kraft Foods, Dongsa Foods' deal stayed intact, making them the only company in the world with both the rights to use the Oreo name and the Oreo O's recipe. However, it wasn't all smooth sailing for Dongsa. Oreo O's were recalled and put on a hiatus in 2014 due to an E. coli outbreak and didn't return until 2016. During the 10-year gap where the cereal wasn't being sold in America, it was reportedly hard to find the cereal in Korea. This was due to Oreo O's being imported by Americans and could even be found in the United States eBay store selling for over $20 per box. Allegedly, the cereal was selling for around $8 a box in South Korea during this time due to the high demand. Oreo O's aren't the only Oreo products to be sold exclusively in other countries, though. Oreo donuts, cake squares, and pound cakes have been officially sold in the United Kingdom since 2016. Another region-exclusive Oreo spin-off are the Oreo Star Cookies, which have a thicker layer of cookie with a star-shaped hole filled with cream. This kind of Oreo can only be found in Asia and is most common in Indonesia. Although Double Stuf Oreos are implied to have double the cream of a regular Oreo, they actually don't. Math teacher Dan Anderson illustrated this on his blog, showing how Double Stuffs have on average 1.86 times as much cream as a single Oreo, not double. Anderson also included the Mega Stuff Oreos in his experiment, showing that they had around 2.68 times the cream of a regular Oreo, and is not the assumed threefold increase. Another fun fact about Double Stuf Oreos is that Oreo producer Nabisco purposefully misspelled the name with one F to get attention. Although there are many theories as to where the original Oreos got their name, the most probable explanation is that the word comes from a plant. Oreo Daphne is a genus of plant and part of the laurel family of plants, which are traditionally used to make wreaths. To add to this connection, the original design on the Oreo cookie includes a wreath, and several Nabisco-branded cookies of the era also used botanical names such as Avena and Lotus. Funnily enough, this also seems to be something copied from Hydrox, which also had a wreath as part of their design. In 2002 and 2005, Nabisco released Peanut Butter and Chocolate Cream Delight Oreos and Double Stuff Peanut Butter Cream Oreos, respectively. This rise in peanut butter flavored Oreos seems to come from a trend of putting peanut butter on regular Oreos, which spiked after the release of the 1998 movie Parent Trap. In the movie, Hallie and Annie, two twins that were separated at birth, bond for a moment after realizing they both have the quirk of putting peanut butter on their Oreos. You might assume that this part of the film was added because its writer had some personal experience with putting peanut butter on Oreos, but this isn't the case. Parent Trap writer and director Nancy Meyers told HelloGiggles.com, "I just made up peanut butter and Oreos for no reason other than it sounded weird and some cute kid would do it. I have no idea where I came up with it." So, essentially, a whole range of Oreo cookies were inspired by a random thought of a Hollywood writer. Did you also know that the McDonald's chain of fast food restaurants started out as a single hot dog stand? For more facts, check out the Did You Know Food video on the history of McDonald's. Or if you'd like to hear more of my voice, you can check out my video on cooking with Twinkies. It's a silly little video where I cook with Twinkies, so check it out. I don't care. Use some of that or don't. I don't care.